Thanks very much for giving us your inputs on that story that's just coming in. Tracking some other news now, the Reserve Bank of India has hiked rates for the sixth time this year in its second quarter review of the monetary policy. Reverse repo and repo rates were hiked by 25 BPS each. Reverse repo has been hiked by 5.25% and repo rate has been hiked to 6.25%. All right, let's go across to our guest who's joining us on the phone line, Mr. Naveen Raheja, MD of Raheja Developers. Thanks very much, Mr. Raheja, for speaking to us here on NewsX. If you can tell us, we believe this credit policy is going to hit the property the most at this point in time. What are your reactions about the same?
I would say that this is again a repeated knee-jerk reaction which has been taken by Reserve Bank of India. Actually, by increasing the cost of money, the developers are simply going to pass it on to the consumers, and that will lead to further inflation. Actually, the purpose of Reserve Bank of India resorting to all this is to contain inflation.
Right.
And by increasing the cost of money, that inflation actually is a spiral way. It is again being passed on to the consumers. The solution, I don't understand why it is not being able to see. The RBI should look at the solution. The problem of inflation is due to demand and supply gap. And to increase the supplies, productivity has to be increased in the country, because India is now on a consumer, a lot of consumer demand is evolving in the country.
Mr. Raheja, clearly if this is, as you're saying, is going to get passed on to the consumer as of now, it will indeed hit the demand as well.
Definitely. No, not for housing. Housing is one subject where a person invests out of the savings. If you make the availability of liquidity to a home buyer, he rather cuts on his other expenditures and puts it into the capital investment in the housing.
Right.
And that rather will control inflation.
All right, Mr. Raheja, well, thanks very much for your inputs for now on that story. We are tracking where the repo rates are concerned. And as of now, let's just get across to Rahul Gandhi, who's speaking at the AICC meet live in New Delhi.